Hello, and welcome to 20 Minutes with Jesus. Take a slow breath. Let your heart stay calm as you move. You don't need to rush into what comes next. God will lead you gently. Let's begin. After seasons of rest, many hearts feel unsure about moving forward again. You may sense that God is inviting you to take steps, but the fear of rushing returns. You worry about losing the peace you just found. You wonder if movement will pull you back into anxiety. God understands this hesitation. He knows how quickly activity can become pressure. He knows how easily movement can slip into striving. And yet, He does not call you to remain still forever. He invites you to move, but differently. Moving forward with God is not driven by urgency. It is guided by peace. Anxious movement is fueled by fear. Fear of falling behind, fear of missing opportunities, fear of losing control. But movement guided by God flows from trust. It does not push. It does not rush. It responds. This kind of movement listens before it acts. It waits for clarity without forcing it. It respects inner peace as a form of guidance. It moves when the heart feels settled, not pressured. God never leads through panic. If movement feels rushed, pressured, or chaotic, it is often not from God. His guidance carries a sense of steadiness, even when steps require courage. Peace does not mean ease. It means alignment. Learning to move without anxiety requires discernment. You begin to notice the difference between urgency and invitation. Urgency demands immediate action. Invitation allows space for prayer, reflection, and trust. God's invitations do not expire quickly. He is patient. Moving forward with peace also requires trust in God's timing. You no longer measure progress by speed. You measure it by alignment. You measure it by whether peace remains. God is not impressed by fast movement. He is attentive to faithful movement. One step taken in peace matters more than many steps taken in anxiety. If today you sense movement ahead but fear losing peace, pause. God is not asking you to abandon rest. He is inviting you to carry rest with you as you move. Peace is not something you leave behind. It is something you walk with. And as this episode begins, allow yourself to trust that God knows how to lead you forward gently. You do not need to rush. You do not need to force clarity. You only need to stay attentive and move when peace leads the way. Discerning when God is inviting you to move requires a different kind of attention than we often expect. It is not about pressure, urgency, or fear-driven decisions. God's invitations are rarely loud. They are gentle, steady, and grounded in peace. Many people confuse anxiety with calling. Anxiety pushes. God invites. Anxiety creates urgency. God creates clarity. When anxiety is present, the heart feels rushed. There is a sense that something must be done immediately, or an opportunity will be lost. This kind of movement is fueled by fear, not trust. God does not lead through panic. He leads through peace, even when the step ahead requires courage. God's invitation to move is often accompanied by inner steadiness, not excitement alone, not pressure alone, but a settled sense that moving aligns with who you are becoming in Him. This steadiness does not mean the absence of fear. Fear can still exist, but it does not dominate. It does not dictate decisions. Peace remains present, even if emotions fluctuate. Discerning God's invitation also requires listening beneath surface noise. When life is loud, it becomes difficult to hear God clearly. Rest and stillness prepare the heart to recognize His guidance. That is why seasons of rest often precede seasons of movement. God restores discernment before He directs action. God does not rush his guidance. He gives time for prayer, time for reflection, time for alignment. When movement is from God, it does not feel forced. You are not driven by comparison. You are not reacting to pressure. You are responding to an invitation that resonates deeply. Another sign of God's invitation is peace that remains after prayer. Anxiety may spike briefly, but peace returns. Questions may arise, but trust stays intact. Uncertainty may exist, but fear does not rule. God's guidance leaves room for faith to breathe. Discerning God's invitation also involves honesty about motivation. Ask yourself gently, am I moving because I feel led or because I feel pressured? Am I responding to peace or reacting to fear? Am I trusting God's timing or trying to control outcomes? God invites movement that flows from trust, not from the need to prove something. When God invites you to move, He also provides grace for the step. Grace does not remove difficulty, but it supports obedience. You feel strengthened rather than drained, supported rather than overwhelmed. Movement from God does not exhaust the soul, it stretches it. Another important aspect of discernment is patience. God's invitations do not disappear quickly. If a step is truly from Him, it will remain. Anxiety-driven opportunities often feel urgent and fragile. God's guidance is steady and enduring. It does not pressure you to act before you are ready. God respects process. He knows when your heart is prepared. He knows when timing aligns. He knows when movement will produce life rather than burnout. Discerning God's invitation also means accepting that some movement will be gradual. Not every step is dramatic. Not every calling is immediate. Sometimes movement looks like preparation, not action. God often begins movement internally before it becomes external. He shifts perspective, restores confidence, and strengthens trust before asking for visible steps. If today you are unsure whether to move forward, do not rush the decision. Stay close to God. Keep listening. Peace will guide you more clearly than pressure ever could. God does not confuse His children. He leads gently. He invites patiently. He guides faithfully. As this episode continues, allow yourself to trust that God knows when to move you forward. You do not need to chase clarity. You do not need to force momentum. When God invites you to move, peace will go with you. And when peace leads the way, you can move forward without anxiety, trusting that God is guiding each step with care. There comes a moment in the journey of faith when God gently invites you to move again, not with urgency, not with pressure, but with peace. This moment can feel confusing because it comes after rest, after stillness, after learning how to slow down. The heart wonders how to move forward without losing the peace it just found. God understands this tension. He knows how easily movement can turn into striving. He knows how quickly progress can become pressure. That is why He does not call His children to move by anxiety, but by peace. Peace is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the presence of trust. Walking forward led by peace means learning to recognize the difference between pressure and invitation. Pressure shouts. It demands immediate action. It creates fear of missing out, falling behind, or losing control. Invitation, on the other hand, is gentle. It allows space. It respects process. God's invitations are patient. They do not rush the heart. They do not overwhelm the soul. They do not demand instant certainty. Instead, they invite trust. Many people struggle here because they are used to being driven by urgency. They associate movement with intensity. When God invites them to move slowly, calmly, and attentively, it can feel unfamiliar, even unsafe. But God is not asking you to abandon peace. He is asking you to carry peace with you as you walk. Peace becomes your guide. This does not mean every step feels easy. Courage may still be required. Risk may still be present. But peace remains beneath the surface, grounding the heart even when emotions fluctuate. Walking forward without anxiety also requires letting go of comparison. Comparison creates pressure. Pressure creates haste. Haste creates anxiety. God never leads by comparison. He leads personally. Your pace is not meant to match someone else's. Your steps are not meant to mirror another person's journey. God knows exactly what your heart can carry in this season. When you move by peace, you stop measuring progress by speed. You begin to measure it by alignment. You ask different questions. Does this step keep me close to God? Does it protect the peace He has given me? Does it reflect trust rather than fear? These questions change everything. Walking forward led by peace also means accepting gradual movement. Not every step is big. Not every decision is final. Sometimes movement looks like preparation, not completion. God often invites His children to take small steps that feel almost insignificant. But small steps taken in peace build confidence, discernment, and trust. Over time, these steps create momentum that is sustainable. Anxiety wants everything now. Peace trusts timing. God's timing is never rushed. He is not late. He is not slow. He is intentional. When He invites you to move, it is because something within you is ready, not because circumstances are perfect. Walking forward without anxiety also requires releasing the need to control outcomes. Control feeds anxiety. Trust calms it. When you move with God, you are not responsible for managing results. You are responsible for staying aligned. God carries the outcomes. He handles what you cannot predict. This frees the heart to move without fear. Peace also guards your energy. Anxiety-driven movement exhausts quickly. Peace-led movement sustains. When God leads, grace accompanies the step. You may feel stretched, but not drained. Challenged, but not depleted. This is an important sign. God's invitations bring grace for obedience. Pressure drains. Grace strengthens. Walking forward led by peace also reshapes faith. Faith becomes less about proving obedience and more about responding to relationship. You are not trying to impress God with movement. You are responding to His presence. This kind of faith is mature. It listens carefully. It moves thoughtfully. It rests confidently. If today you sense God inviting you to move forward but fear anxiety returning, pause. Ask what kind of movement He is inviting. God does not ask you to trade peace for progress. He invites you to let peace guide progress. You do not need to rush. You do not need to force clarity. You do not need to move faster than grace allows. God leads gently. As long as peace remains, you can keep walking. If peace is lost, you can pause again. God is not offended by slowness. He is attentive to trust. Walking forward led by peace is one of the clearest expressions of faith. It says, I trust God enough to move without panic. It says, I believe God is with me in each step. It says, I choose alignment over urgency. And this kind of movement leads not only to progress, but to wholeness. God is not just taking you somewhere. He is shaping how you walk. And when peace leads the way, you can move forward, steady, confident, and free from anxiety. Let's pray together. God, we come before you today with hearts that want to move forward, but not at the cost of peace. We recognize how easily anxiety tries to lead our steps. We feel the pressure to decide quickly, to act immediately, to figure everything out before we move. And yet, You invite us into a different way. You invite us to be led by peace. God, today we surrender the urgency that does not come from you, pressure that rushes our hearts and clouds our discernment. Teach us how to recognize your gentle invitation instead of reacting to fear. When anxiety tries to push us forward, slow us down. When comparison tempts us to rush, anchor us in truth. When uncertainty makes us restless, remind us that you are near. God, we want to trust you with our steps. Help us believe that moving slowly does not mean moving backward. Help us trust that obedience guided by peace is still obedience. Teach us how to listen before acting, to pray before deciding, and to move only when our hearts are settled in you. We surrender our need to control outcomes. We release the fear of missing opportunities. We release the worry of falling behind. We release the belief that everything depends on us. God, replace anxiety with trust. Let peace guard our hearts and minds. Let your presence steady us when emotions fluctuate. Teach us how to pause without guilt and move without panic. If you are inviting us to take steps, show us how to walk gently. If you are asking us to wait, help us rest without fear. Give us discernment to know the difference between pressure and calling. God, we ask you to guard our peace carefully. Protect us from rushing into decisions that are not aligned with you. Protect us from making choices driven by fear instead of faith. Keep our hearts attentive, receptive, and grounded in your presence. Thank you for leading us with patience. Thank you for never pushing us faster than grace allows. Thank you for caring not only about where we are going, but about how we walk. We choose to trust you now. We choose to follow peace. We choose to move when you invite. We choose to rest when you ask. Lead us forward gently. Keep our hearts calm and our faith steady. And remind us again and again that when you lead, we do not need to be anxious. Amen. As we come to the end of this episode, allow your heart to stay in this calm space for a moment longer. You are not being asked to rush into what comes next. God is not pushing you forward with pressure. He is inviting you to walk with Him at the pace of peace. You do not need to decide everything today. You do not need to figure out the future right now. You do not need to move faster than your heart can carry. Moving forward with God does not feel frantic. It feels steady. When God leads, peace remains present even when the path requires courage. Anxiety may try to rise, but it does not control the direction. Peace becomes the guide, reminding you that God is with you in every step. As you return to your day, pay attention to what stirs anxiety and what restores calm. God often speaks through peace, not as a command, but as confirmation. If peace remains, you can keep walking. If peace fades, you can pause again without guilt. Pausing is not failure. Slowing down is not disobedience. Waiting is not wasting time. God honors movement that is aligned with Him, not movement driven by fear. If you have been afraid of moving forward because you don't want to lose peace, hear this. God does not ask you to trade peace for progress. He invites you to let peace lead progress. You are allowed to move slowly. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to wait for clarity. God's plans are not fragile. They do not fall apart because you move thoughtfully. He knows how to guide you without anxiety. As you continue walking with God, keep your faith gentle and your trust steady. Let your steps be intentional, not rushed. Let your decisions be guided by prayer, not pressure. If this episode encouraged your heart, continue this journey with God, staying attentive, peaceful, and open. You do not need to hurry into what comes next. God will lead you when the time is right. May peace guard your heart as you move forward. May trust anchor your decisions. And may you remember that walking with God is not about speed. It is about staying close. He is with you. And that is enough.